Hello. So today I'm back with a new video, and today I'm going to be talking about going back. Going back to a life of meaning and optimism and zeal. After so many years of letting pessimism and cynicism and all these negative thought loops kind of crowd into your brain. Um, I'm gonna start the story off with kind of my own personal anecdote, but this story is not about me. The main purpose of this video is to, number one, give you permission to go back to your former self, to your former kind of childlike self, and number two is to give you some tactical advice on how you can actually do that. So let's go. So number one, my personal story. So I came across this thought when I recently discovered a treasure chest, actually, that I kept as a kid, like when I was like 10, 11 years old. And it had a lot of the kind of it was a classic kind of like time capsule like style chest where I kept a lot of like things that were very special to me, right? So like a few souvenirs, a few special photos, like some interesting stuff that I made along the way, things like that. Um, and it just made me really reflect on how much I changed as a person and how much hope and like cynicism hope I'd lost and cynicism I gained um, in the decade since. Even when all external circumstances were perfect and they were all great, I somehow let myself become very cynical and become very solipsistic, which I think I regret the most in life, right? Like the moments I regret the most in life are always when I let myself become regretful and cynical and pessimistic. Because number one, it's not great for your soul, and number two, it's also not great for other people because you don't show up as a bright and happy person that you really should be. Cool. So again, as a child, I kept a treasure chest of everything that was special to me, right? So like my own creations, my own little kind of special souvenirs and things like that. But over time, as I entered kind of middle school, high school, college, I think I just became very cynical. Partly just because of all like the academic pressure, a lot of the pressure to kind of make something of myself, to kind of acquire skills and like so forth. But also just because as you grow older, you become very image obsessed. You become very image obsessed, but not in the ways that you would think, right? So sometimes being image obsessed can actually make you more unlikable, which is a paradox. But again, think about it. Do you like being around image obsessed people? Probably not, right? Do you like being around people pleasing people? Probably not, right? Because you can very easily see through that. And really, all people want to see from you is actually your true self and actually like your childlike zeal. And I think for a very long time, I was just very stuck in this mode where I didn't really want to express express like my actual wants or desires or like my actual inner self because I didn't really want to make it visible or be judged for it. Which sounds embarrassing to say because you don't really want to be like a very self-conscious person, but I can only but I think it's a very common pattern that a lot of people fall into. So I just wanted to kind of be fully open with it here. So again, uh, that's my personal story, and I think just now, after 10 years, I'm just now starting to come out of that mode and uh, starting to really rediscover a lot, like the same boy that I was when I made the treasure chest. Cool. So number one, permission. You should never really need anybody's permission to be yourself, obviously. But I think a lot of people have this sense that if you've been very kind of flaky and been very negative for a long time, then that's what people expect of you, and that you shouldn't really try to change yourself afterwards because you are kind of known as this uh, uh, um, as a very closed off person. And I think the single most helpful heuristic that's helped me in this case is a actual clip from The Lion King, which is funny to say. But there is a scene where Simba, after years of kind of not caring about his life and kind of having like this Hakuna Matata lifestyle, meets Rafiki, and he basically says that if he goes back, then he'll need to face the past. He'll need to own up to his own past, and that terrifies him. That terrifies him because he has been running away for so long, and the longer he runs away, the bigger the fear gets. which I think a lot of people feel. I watched that scene as a kid, not really thinking of anything of it, but now that I watch it, I'm like, wow, like that. This is really what becoming an adult actually is. Um, so again, this video is your permission to fully embody your true self, and to not let your inner light die. Number two, tactical advice. Tactical advice, I think the number one thing is to gain a lot of perspective and feedback on like how you actually come off. I think for a long time when I was in the pessimistic mode, I'd really define myself in every way other than how I was actually showing up, right? How I was actually showing up. Um, was I making people smile? Was I making people feel bad? Was I making kind of offhand comments, things like that? And the biggest mistake to avoid usually in these cases is to unintentionally make people feel bad about themselves just because